Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode, Healing and Ascending into Christ Consciousness with Nancy Proano. Nancy is a consciousness transformation facilitator, a Brennan healing science practitioner, a Reiki master, and a talented and accomplished artist. She's also an economist. Nancy, welcome. It's such a delight to have you with us today.
Hi, Nancy. Hello from Florida, from Miami. I am very pleased to be in this podcast with you.
Great.
I think we're going to enjoy it.
I think so too. Now, you know, Nancy, I recently attended one of your workshops and I absolutely loved your presentation and how you combined healing, spirituality with science. It was great. So let's just get right into it. Why is healing and Christ consciousness relevant?
Well, it is very relevant today. The Earth, the solar system, and especially the Earth, is moving into the next octave of consciousness. And there are many signs from the macro to the micro. And people who are aware have known this for a long time, and we have been preparing for many lifetimes for this very specific moment. Even this last weekend and today was a very special, energetic, cosmic stargate that opened, and that literally threw the Earth into the sun, the Earth, the solar system, into this new state of being, of consciousness. And these are very exciting times. And so in order to move along into this new life that we will be creating and are creating at this present moment, we need to have a deep look at ourselves and change, shift all that information that has not allowed us to be in a higher state of consciousness in the past. So that's what I call healing. Healing is about looking inside yourself and shifting all that information.
Great. You know, not everyone understands necessarily Christ consciousness. We know that's a higher consciousness and awareness, a greater awareness of who we are. And of course, some people might just call it, they could call it Buddhic consciousness, they could call it higher mental body, your higher self. There's a lot of different terms. But can you tell us, Nancy, what you mean by the Christ consciousness?
Yes, Christ consciousness is a state of being. It has nothing to do with religion. That's very important to clarify. Nothing to do with Christianity or Catholicism or any other religion that have taken this term as their own. Everyone on this earth from every different background, religious background, can access this Christ consciousness. Actually, it was the level of consciousness with which Father, Mother, God created us with. And in simple terms, it's about being in the heart, having a direct and deep connection with Source, with the Creator, with God, with the universe, through the heart, showing compassion, caring for others, and especially being here on this planet to be in service of others. Taking a look at the duality we have created so far and shifting that. So,
Going from duality to wholeness again, right?
Yes, integrating the dark aspects that we have, that they're not good or bad. They have just been there for us to look at them. And they have been the fuel that has really propelled us into go into a more balanced state. So
right. Very good. So the healing, how do you go about with the healing that you do?
Well, it's really about observing, becoming your own observer, witnessing. At the Barbara Brennan School, we learned a very useful term, very useful tool, which is witnessing, asking, experiencing. So we become our own witnesses. There's a part of us that is always doing or thinking or feeling, or the three of them at the same time. But there is also this other part that can observe what is happening and just be there, looking at everything as information and being curious without judgment. Because when we become curious and we see everything that happens in our lives and within ourselves as information and just information, you don't go into the judgment. And with the information, you can create another reality. You can make a decision because it takes intention and then make a decision to shift that. So we try to be very, very neutral observers of ourselves so that we can shift that information with compassion and love. Self-love and self-compassion, I think it's the key for everything.
Yes, and as you talk about being the observer, that actually starts to help us to move to that Christ consciousness, because it is that higher part of ourselves that can look at what we're doing, can observe ourselves in the more human consciousness, you might say. So that alone is a help, to go toward that Christ consciousness. So do you have particular healing techniques or whatever that you might share at all?
Well, it's not a healing technique, but I believe that the change happens when there's an intention. So Dr. Barbara Brennan, she is a very, I think she is a Renaissance woman. She was a scientist and creator of these tools for self-transformation. One of the information she provided is that there are 4 dimensions in a human being, and the deepest one is our core essence. That is the reality of who we are, the light that we are, God's essence within us. And from the core essence, we go into another dimension, which is the intentionality. Intention is important, is the basis and the fundamental aspect of how we create our lives. What is our intention? So the first thing as a facilitator that I would look first within myself and then within my clients would be, what is the intention for you in this moment? What intention are you holding? What is the longing that you want to create?
Okay.
How is that intention? Is it solid? Do you have a split intention? Is there fear, or what is blocking the manifestation of what you intend to create? So we tend to look, first of all, at a deeper, we take a look deeper into what the intentionality and the field of intentionality is within ourselves. One of the things that blocks the manifestation of what we want to create in this world is fear. We have fears of being successful. Someone who wants to create a relationship may have a fear of the essence being taken over, of wanting of their partner to control them, fear of loving. So we take a deeper look. Many people are stuck in a certain place and they don't move forward and they don't know how to manifest. So we take a deeper look. What is your intention telling you? And so there's a line of intention we call the Hara line, and we work with the Hara line, and we strengthen the Hara line. And the Hara line is energetic line, like a blue laser line that connects us to Source, to Father, Mother, God, and then to the core of this earth. And that Hara line can be broken, can be weak, can be forward or backward, and that has to do with emotions. It has to do with whether you're too mental, if you're always in the mind. So intentionality. Intentionality is the first thing we look at. How is your intention? And we strengthen that. We take a good look at our heart, our high heart. What is my longing? What do I want to create in this life? And we move on there. Because yeah.
So Nancy, can you turn off the video because it's cutting out a little bit? I can just edit this part out.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, well that's awesome, the intentionality, because that can take you in so many different directions as you're describing. It's wonderful. Now, on this podcast, I talk a bit about spiritual techniques and different things that we can use to help us free ourselves from some of our limitations. And one of those is the violet flame. Do you use that or incorporate that at all?
Definitely. I use the violet flame. I learned the violet flame from Elizabeth Clare Prophet about 30 years ago, and I've used it every day in my life. It's an important, I think it would be, for me, it's the most important transformational tool that we can use in the here and now, because it's a spiritual ray that works very closely with the physical and the third dimension. So what it does is when you invoke the violet flame, this sacred fire, it's a sacred fire, it acts as an alchemist tool, and it goes into the physicality of the cells and atoms and all our third dimensional structures, and it literally burns and transforms into light. All that I call it less than Christ consciousness. So when I use and I call for the violet flame, I call for my angels, the ascended masters I work with, and I ask for a specific intention. So here, intention is important. I name the intention as specific as I can be. And then the violet flame, which is part of the creator's consciousness, acts according to God's will, obviously, to his will, her will, acts and transmutes the element that is mentioned in my intention. So intention is at the basis of what I want to create. And I use the violet flame with an intention. So yes.
Yeah, very, very important to have that intention when you are invoking the violet flame or any mantra or any spiritual tool that you're using. Very, very good. So I have a little recording that I do post in some of my podcasts when we talk about the violet flame, and I'll repost it with this one. It's just like 6 or 7 minutes where doing some beginning violet flame mantras, doing some violet flame mantras with some music behind it. So I think everyone will enjoy that. And thank you for sharing that, because I too believe that the violet flame is one of the most important tools we can use to transmute, as you say, energy. Energy, as we know, everything's energy, and all of these issues that we might have are really just energy, and it can be freed by directing.
They are free, but they are also charged with a different consciousness.
Yes, exactly.
So that's the transformation. That's the alchemist part of the magical part of the violet flame. And all sacred rays, they all have a specific frequency and therefore a specific intentionality. but the violet flame is like the universal alchemist tool. And yes, I teach the violet flame in all my healing circles, in my workshops. So yes.
Very good. So, well, Nancy, is there anything that you'd like to leave the listeners with? Any parting thought?
That Christ consciousness, to become a Christ means to become one who serves the light, but who is in balance. And to walk a Christ path, a Christic path, involves inner work, and it's not an easy work. It takes courage, it takes effort, it takes intention. It takes intention, it takes a lot of self-forgiveness and forgiveness of others. It takes an opening of the heart to understand that creation is about divine love, unconditional love. And so we are heading that way. And that's I think that's like joyful to know that after the dark ages this planet and the solar system has been in, we are finally being given an opportunity. A new cycle is coming, and this new cycle is made of opportunities to be in a more centered and balanced place, in peace and compassion, to create beautiful things, to create societies in which we will be caring one for the other and just irradiate divine love. But it takes inner working. It's not automatic.
Right, we wish, huh?
It's not, but the opportunity is here. This year, 2020 is very important. We started this weekend, January 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, with important and several astrological signs. February has another one, and the rest of the year will have 3 or 4 major astrological events, and all of those are energetic portals. But we are the ones who choose. We are the ones to choose. We want to go through that portal into higher consciousness of light.
Oh,
We want to stay here. It's always a choice.
right. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Now, people can reach you through your website at nancyproano.com, right?
That's my art webpage. I have a Facebook page, Sacred Blue Rose, and an Instagram page, Sacred Blue Rose Nancy Proano. But my Gmail, proanonancy.com, would be the easiest way to reach me.
Okay. So Proano Nancy at
gmail.com.
gmail.com. Okay. Now I understand you have a free gift that you are offering, a free 1/2 hour healing session to the first one who contacts Nancy. And that is at Proano, Proano, Nancy at gmail.com.
Yes, correct.
Very good. Thank you so much, Nancy, for being with us. I love hearing how you talk about all of these things about Christ consciousness and your healing, and you certainly have so many things to offer your clients and the listeners. So folks out there, if you want to be the first one, it's proanonancy at gmail.com for a free 1/2 hour healing session. Thank you, everyone, also for being with us today. And I will see you next week. Until then, keep an open mind, a generous heart, and a powerful spirit.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, everyone.